You have cut your food down further than you ever thought you'd have to. You're walking, you're in the gym, and the scale hasn't moved in months. So you did what everybody else does. You Googled it, or maybe you even ChatGPT'd it. And every single result told you the same thing. Menopause, or your metabolism is slow. Your hormones are working against you now. I am 50 years old and in the best shape of my life. I am not restricting and I'm not eating a single calorie that I do not love. So what I want to tell you is what's actually going on. And I want to be honest with you because part of this is going to relieve you, but part of it is going to annoy you. The relief is that your metabolism is almost certainly not broken. The research on that is not supporting what the internet or influencers are telling you. And I'm going to show you. And the annoying part is that we cannot blame menopause for all of it. Menopause is real. I'm postmenopausal myself. It does change things. It's just not doing the thing that you think it's doing. So here's what I'm going to cover. What genuinely changes in your body after 50, what does not change nearly as much as you've been told, the actual reason the weight will not move, which almost nobody names out loud. I'm going to do that today. Where HRT fits into this equation and where it doesn't, and then exactly what I would do with you in order if you were sitting right in front of me as my client. Stay to the end because the order matters more than any single thing on this list. I'm going to read you the 3 most common comments I get on my Instagram. I hardly eat and the scale won't move. I used to follow this same plan at 35, and ever since I turned 40, it stopped working. Weight loss feels impossible after I went into menopause.
Your friends and make a plan. Let's have ourselves a date. No promises.
My name is Janine. I am a coach for women in midlife. I'm a certified NASM personal trainer and nutrition coach, as well as certified in menopause. And if you are a woman who wants to thrive in midlife and you're looking to get into your dream body, and you want help with nutrition, fitness, and practical advice on how to thrive at this stage of life, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos. You've come to the right place. Now let's get into the video. What genuinely does change in menopause? Estrogen drops and fat distribution changes to your midsection. So the same body weight actually feels entirely different on you, or the same few pounds gained feels entirely different because maybe you would gain a few pounds and it's distributed all over or to your hips or your butt. And in menopause, that distribution, the same couple of pounds concentrated to the midsection. That's not your imagination. Definitely changes. Insulin sensitivity tends to decline. Sleep definitely gets disrupted, and disrupted sleep leads to increased cortisol as well as increased cravings and hunger. Muscle loss accelerates, and this is the one that matters, and we're going to come back to it. Recovery definitely slows down, so the same amount of training beats you up more than it used to. It's just generally harder to recover from. Now let's talk about what does not change as much as you've been told or as much as you probably currently believe. Total daily energy expenditure, adjusted for body composition, stays fairly stable from your 20s all the way through your 60s. Yes, you heard that right. That steep decline that everyone thinks is happening actually comes much later than you'd expect. And I'm talking about your metabolism here. Another thing that's not happening is menopause doesn't flip a switch on your calorie burn. It doesn't turn it off. What's actually changing that calorie burn is lost muscle. So lost muscle is actually making it so that you burn less calories at rest. This is a big problem, but it has a solution. I do want to make it clear that I'm not a doctor, I'm a coach, and I'm sharing information based on the latest research. But this is not meant to diagnose or prescribe to anybody. That's definitely out of my scope. This is the big reason that you're struggling with your weight the most in midlife. And it's the reason that almost nobody talks about. It's the floor. Essentially, 20 years of dieting or cutting calories has taught your body to run on less fuel. So your metabolism literally adapts to the low calories. Think about it. Every time a diet stopped working or a workout stopped working, your first inclination was to eat less. And every time you drop that number, you drop the floor even lower, which will result in no weight loss. It's exactly why you're experiencing that now. Think about it. So maybe in your 20s or 30s, you could jump on a 1,500 calorie a day diet and it worked like a charm. You'd lose 10 pounds before your beach vacation. But that same 1,500 calories now is what you eat to stay exactly the same weight. Am I right? Could even be lower for some of you. A lot of my clients come in, they're eating really, really low calories and not losing a single pound. Basically, the cutting lower, stop working, cutting lower, you've been repeating that for 2 decades. So what does that mean? You arrive at 50 years old, eating less than you ever have been, carrying less muscle than you ever have been. And menopause gets blamed for that, but in reality, that's something that you've created over 2 decades of dieting and cutting calories. I hope that makes sense to you because it's a very important part to understand. Now, there are 4 things that will make this truth even worse. Sleep or lack thereof, alcohol, because your body has a harder time processing it after menopause, stress load, your body after menopause also has a harder time regulating stress and specifically the hormone cortisol, and protein. Let's be real. You've been so focused on cutting calories, you definitely haven't been focused on eating an adequate amount of protein. I had a client tell me recently that I'm really focused on getting my protein in. I make sure I get 60 grams of protein a day. I had to break it to her that that wasn't enough to not only not build muscle, it's not enough to even sustain the muscle that you have. So at low calories and 60 grams of protein, you're losing muscle every single day. And the other thing that's affecting your ability to lose is your movement. You move less after 40 than you did when you were younger, chasing toddlers and running around more activities. You might work out in the same capacity or the same number of days. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about your movement outside of your actual workout movement. So your just natural daily energy expenditure. So this is what I would actually do if you right now are experiencing the fact that you eat very low calories and you're unable to lose weight. Let's say for you, you are eating 1,200 calories a day. You're tracking that and you know for certain that that is what you are eating consistently and the scale does not budge. This is what we would do. The first thing I do is a phase I call stabilization. So all of my clients that start with me go into this phase and I slowly titrate their calories up from where they are to readjust that maintenance. So if right now you're eating 1,200 calories a day and not losing a single pound, 1,200 is your current maintenance. We need to raise that floor. So I do that, and the body is very responsive when this is done correctly by slowly titrating calories up by as much as your body can handle without putting on body fat, and I watch this closely. We titrate those calories up to a more acceptable place, the place that you should be, the place that you probably were 2 decades ago. So for example, maybe that should be 1,900 calories for you. So it would take a slow titration up to 1,900, watching the numbers and the data closely to make sure that you don't gain body fat and maintaining at those calories. During that time, we're feeding the body properly with adequate amount of protein, and you're using all of this extra energy you have to have really good constructive workouts. So while we're lifting the floor of your metabolism, we're also building muscle and putting that muscle back on that increases your metabolic capacity at rest. It means you burn more calories doing absolutely nothing. And that is the best currency that you can increase. The next thing I do is monitor current activity levels by monitoring steps, and I'll prescribe a specific step number that is realistic for the particular client. And another very important lever that we watch is sleep. So we want to make sure that You are getting an adequate amount of sleep for rest and recovery, and this provides a really good, safe environment for the body to not only build muscle, but to release body fat when we're ready. The most important thing about those levers are that step number one, which is stabilizing while increasing food. This is very important, and this is the step that pretty much every single woman I've ever talked to, not only do they skip, they've never ever done this. They have never spent a period of time, doesn't have to be a long period of time because the body is amazing at adapting, but they've never felt safe enough to increase calories without the risk of, or the worry or the anxiety of gaining weight. So that cannot be skipped. I cannot emphasize that enough. So listen, the good news is your metabolism is not broken. It can usually pretty quickly and efficiently be adapted and come all the way back up to the point where once we drop your calories again, your body is primed and ready for fat loss like you were in your 20s again. Everybody is, everyone's situation is slightly different. I customize my approach to the client and what their specific needs are. If you want to know specifically what that path might look for you, book into a consultation call. There's no obligation. We can talk through what your goals are and what the process would look like for you inside of my ESCO Elite Phases system. Scan the QR code up on the screen if you're interested in submitting that application. And until then, make sure you stick around, hit that subscribe button, and tune in to my next video.